So first, you want to take off the wheel, and to take off the wheel, you need to take off this hub. To take off the hub, you have to get behind here and pry it off. But I had already taken it off, so I was just showing you how to do it. And now, these nuts are a size 21. So with this size 21, let's take off the wheel. Today we are changing the front rotors on this 2000 Ford Excursion. So I've done this wheel already, and I'll show you how to do it on the front right wheel, front left wheel, sorry, which is the driver wheel. But right, basically you have to take out this bolt. This is a 21 millimeter bolt, and then one on this side, down here. One 21 millimeter bolt down here. There's two there, and then that'll take off the whole bracket, and then you can swing this up and hold it somewhere while you replace the old one with the new one. So I'll show you how to do it on the next wheel. Once we get the wheel off, then we can stick a flathead in here and pry back on the brakes so the piston will move back, and that will allow us to take off the bracket with the caliper instead of just the caliper and then the bracket by itself. So let's get in here. Just pry a little bit both ways. And then the rotor should be able to move once you've moved the piston back for the brakes a little bit. And then once you've loosened up the piston, then you can take out these two 21 millimeter bolts. So let's do that. Once you break it loose with a breaker bar like this, then you can switch to a normal 1/2-inch ratchet to get it out a little bit quicker. And once you can take the bolts out, we want to make sure we don't lose the bolts, because we do need to reuse these. So once we take them out, I'm going to put this hook into this hole and hang it up so it doesn't get in the way of the rotor when we're trying to replace it with this. So now let's get the bottom one out. This is what our new one looks like. So let's go ahead and take it out of the box, or the bag, I should say. All right. So now we need to get it on. Once we have the rotor in, we need to make sure it's flush with this back dust shield so the rotor can go on nicely without having to push the piston back even more. So we're going to put a nut here just so it goes all the way flush to the back. Socket, put it in a tiny bit more. Sure it doesn't move, and then that's how you know it's secure. And once that's secure, then we can put the caliper back on and the wheel, and that's how you change your caliper. Now we can get the caliper on, and basically the rest of this project is just doing the reverse order of how you took it off. So let's continue. Then once the caliper is in, we have to tighten up the two 21 millimeter bolts. One at the bottom and one at the top. Then after you have these caliper bolts in, just with your ratchet, the 1/2 inch ratchet, you want to go over it once time with this so we can know it's tight for sure. We don't want this coming off since it's the brakes. Once we have the caliper tightened up again, we can now take this nut out because we don't need this anymore until we put the tire on. And that's the last step, putting the tire on. But before we put the tire on, we should press the brakes so the pistons go back and make the brakes actually snug and so the rotor doesn't move around. So let's go to the brakes. Stick my foot up there. Press all the way down and all the way up a couple times. Once it gets more stiff, then you know brakes are good. Now we need to put the wheel on and then torque them down, and that's how you do rotors. And now we need to torque them. And these get torqued to 75 foot-pounds. Oh.